Good afternoon, everyone. Today I will discuss about international pricing. So we all know a price is very important or very significant in a business or in a firm. Effective pricing meets the needs of consumers and facilitates the exchange process. It requires that marketers must understand that not all buyers want to pay the same price for products, just as they do not all want the same products, the same distribution outlets, or the same promotional messages. Therefore, in order to effectively price products, markets must distinguish among various market segments. The key to effective pricing is the same as the key to effective product distribution and promotion strategies. Marketers must understand buyers and price their product according to buyer needs if exchanges are to occur. However, one cannot overlook the fact that price must be sufficient to support the plans of the organization, including satisfying stockholders. Price charge remains the primary source of revenue for most businesses. So before we put price in our product, we should always consider or base the ini according sa aton nga market segmentation that we have. As our last lesson, we tackled about market segmentation, which is we segmentize or we categorize our market according sa geographical location nila, according sa culture, sa age nila, or sa buying capacity of the people. Same in the international pricing, we should consider our market segmentation before putting in a product because we all know nga different market segment have a different needs and we need different approaches in putting price in our products. So, in order to effectively price products, markets must distinguish among various market segments. So, para effective nga magbutang ta sang price aton product, we always base or i-base tagid na siya according sa aton nga market segment. So we base on the needs of sang people, or we base it for the needs of our people sa profile nila or sa buying capacity nila. Pricing objectives. So ano gid ba lang objective ta sa pag put up sang price sa aton nga product? Firms rely on a price to cover the cost of production, to pay expenses, and to provide the profit incentive necessary to continue to operate the business. We might think of these factors as helping organizations to survive, earn a profit, generate sales, secure an adequate share of the market, and gain a appropriate image. So price will determine profit how much profit may ara kita in every single product ka ginabaligya. So is ang price man amo ang price is will be a big help sa isa ka organization, isa ka firm para makasurvive ang business in a long term. So survival. It is apparent that most managers wish to pursue strategies that enable their organizations to continue in operation for the long term. So survival is one of the major objectives pursued by most executives. For a commercial firm, the price paid by the buyer generates the firm's revenue. If its revenue falls below the cost for a long period of time, the firm cannot survive. So prices will determine revenues. The revenues will hold the firm to continue operating because syempre, if ang negosyo wala nag-income, it will not survive in a long time. Importante ang price para ka-income ang isa ka business to help for all the expenses sang isa ka firm. To survive, kinahanglan nga at para sa survival, price is ang importante sa tanan para makakuha ka sang ganansya or maka-sales ka. So, profit. Survival is closely linked to profitability, making a $500,000 profit during the next year might be a pricing objective for a firm. Anything less will ensure failure. All business enterprises must earn a long-term profit. for many businesses. Long-term profitability also allows the business to satisfy their most important constituent stockholders. Lower than expected or no profits will drive down stock prices and may prove disastrous for the company. So every company may ara gina siya gina tawag sa ginahabol nga profit sa isa ka tuig para makasurvive ang isa ka business, di ba? Example ta is, of course, good example ta is the public transportation sector sang nag-pandemic, di ba? Syempre ang first gid nga natamaan sang ang economy is the public transportation sectors. Example na lang is the Yellow Bus Line or the bus company. Syempre sa bus company may ginbaba nga ordinansa nga ton government nga 50% lang ang pwede makasakay sa ila para maano naton ang social distancing. So syempre kung 50% lang sang isa ka bus company ang makasulod, malugi sila kay sa expenses pa lang nila dako na. So ang ang strategy nga ginhimo nila is gindugangan nila ang pamasahe sang isa ka ilang commuter. So gintaasan nila ang price para ma-cope up nila tong losses or tong iba para ma-cope up tong losses nga mga pasahero nila. So amo na siya ang ilang strategy para maka-cope up sila or ma-cope up nila tong profit nga kinahanglan nila para makaganansya man sila. So ang ilang nga ginhimong strategy is gintaasan nila ang price nila bisan 50% sang isa ka tawo nga one passenger loss nila bisan 50% gidugang nila dito sa pamasahe sang ilang commuters. So sales. Just as survival requires a long-term profit for a business enterprise, profit requires sales. As you will recall from earlier in the text, the task of marketing management relates to managing demand. Demand must be managed in order to regulate exchanges or sales. Thus, marketing management's aims is to alter sales patterns in some desirable way. So, in sales, it's also connected sa survival and profit. Once nga nagbaligya ka, then the money that you will get will be your sales. And there's a profit para makasurvive ang business. Market share. If the sales of Safeway supermarkets in the Dallas-Fort Worth metropolitan area of Texas, USA, account for 30% of all food sales in that area, we say that Safeway has a 30% market share. Management of all firms, large and small, are concerned with maintaining an adequate share of the market so that their sales volume will enable the firm to survive and prosper. Again, pricing strategy is one of the tools that is significant in creating and sustaining market share. Prices must be set to attract the appropriate market segments in significant number. So, for example, sang market share is the population sang isa ka area is 100 people. And ang tao nga nagabakal sa imo is 40 people. So, the rest is ara na sa competitor mo. So, your market share is 40% of the population. So, pricing ang mag-determine sang imo nga target market. So, ihambalo na sa 40% mo, mas ang imong mga mas more on in the lower class ka sang population. So ang price nga ginahatag mo is for the lower class people. So amo na siyang market share. Image. Price policies plays an important role in affecting a firm's position or respect and esteem its community. Price is highly visible communicator. It must convey the message to the community that the firm offers good value, that is fair in its dealing with the public, that is a reliable place to patronize, and that it stands behind its products and services. So, sa images, ang price nimo amo na siya ang imong kumbaga image kapag nabalaan nila nga ay barato dire. So that's your image, ay that's your ano sa image mo nga ay mas nag-offer sila sang barato nga price kung nagabaligya ka sang product mo in a lower price, mas dito ka nila makilala kung halimbawa nga imo ginabaligya is halimbawa siopaw kung sa iban gabaligya sila sang tag 20 per piece nga siopaw tapos sa imo is 15 pesos lang. So ibig sabihin ang image mo is ay naga-offer siya sang good value sang iya product. So that's the image. Why is it important to have a country specific pricing strategy? Companies that sell the multinational clients or sell their products globally will have to decide how to price their products in each market. Purchase power needs and preference differ between countries, and so does willingness to pay for a given product or service. To maximize profit, pricing research must be conducted for each market. International pricing is one of the most challenging pieces of international marketing. To be competitive in a new market, you must adjust your prices to the local market, and because each market is different, you will need a different pricing strategy for each new market you enter. These variables include the factors listed above. Example is the taxes and currency, but also customers and cultural differences. So, each country is unique. Each country has their own tradition, culture. Some country rich in raw materials than other country. So and some country have more capacity to buy. So to put up to put a price in your product, you always consider these factors. So ang iban mas ang currency nila mas taas, ang iba naman mas nubo. So before you put a product dapat ga-adjust ka sa price ng local market kay halimbawa mas taas gali ang raw materials nila diri sang amo sini nga raw materials. So given na nga mas nubo ang price nga dapat nga ihatag mo sa ila kay mas taas ang ilang raw material, mas damo nga raw materials sa makuha dira sa ilang lugar. So may mga pricing approaches. Alternative approaches to determining price. Price determination decision can be based on a number of factors including cost, demand competition, value, or some combination of factors. However, while many marketers are aware that they should consider these factors, pricing remains somewhat of an art. For purpose of discussion, we categorize the alternative approaches to determining price as follows: cost-oriented pricing or cost plus and markups. The cost plus method, sometimes called gross margin pricing, is perhaps most widely used by marketers to set price. The manager selects as a goal as a particular gross margin that will produce a desirable profit level. Gross margin is the difference between how much the goods cost and the actual price for which it sells. The gross margin is designated by a percent or net sales. The percent selected varies among types of merchandise. That means that one product may have a goal of 48% gross margin while another has a target of 33.5% for 2%. A primary reason that cost plus method is attractive to market is that they do not have to forecast general business conditions or customers' demand. If sales volume projections are reasonably accurate, profit will be on target. Consumers may also view this method as fair since the price they pay is related to the cost of producing the items. Likewise, the marketer is sure that costs are covered. So, ano ang cost-oriented pricing or cost plus and markups? Amo na siyang pinaka common nga gina ginaobra subong sa mga negosyante. Kung pila ang presyo, dugangan mo lang siya para sa ganansya mo. Halimbawa, kung ang presyo is 10 pesos, mag-markup ka lang sang peso or dos. So, amo na siyang ganansya mo. Amo na siyang cost oriented pricing. Break even analysis. A somewhat more sophisticated approaches to cost-based pricing is the break-even analysis. This information requires for the formula for break-even analysis available from the accounting records in the most firms. The break-even price is the price that will produce enough revenue to cover all the costs at the given level of production. Total cost can be divided into fixed and variable. Recall that fixed cost does not change as the level of production goes up or down. The rent paid for the building to house is the operation might be an example. No cost is fixed in the long run, but in the short run, main expenses cannot realistically be changed, but variable cost does change as production is increased or decrease. For example, the cost of raw materials to make the product will vary the production. So, sa break-even analysis, kumbaga daw, even lang siya, wala kaganansya, wala ka man isang lugi. Kung pila tanan nga gasto mo, amo man tong income mo. So, tapos mass production pa gid siya. So, before we proceed, dapat i-determine ang fixed cost. So, ang fixed cost that will never change no matter pilang imo gin-produce or ginbaligya nga product. Example is rent, di ba? Ang renta for example sa isa ka tuig is butang ta 10,000. So, or sa isa ka adlaw is 10,000 or 1.5 or actually 1.5 sa isa ka bulan. So, makabaligya ka man in that month or hindi, 1.5 lang gid ang imong 1.5 gid ang imong baydan in your rent. So wala siya hulag or wala siya nubo, wala siya nagataas nga bisan makabaligya ka man or hindi, fixed gid siya nga 1.5 ang imong baydan every month. So ano ang variable cost naman? Variable cost, the cost that more product that we manufacture, the higher the cost we have. Diba? Nang nagalain-lain man siya or example, ang raw materials. If we produce more product, mas damo man nga materials ang kinahanglan ta. So, kung damo ang atong i-produce nga product, nagadamo man ang raw materials nga aton nga i-baklon. So, depende sa aton nga i-produce kung ano kadamo man ang aton nga raw materials na gamiton. So, number 3. Target rates of return. Break-even pricing is a reasonable approaches when there is a limit on the quantity which a firm can provide and particularly when a target return objective is sought. Assume, for example, that the firm with the cost illustrated in the previous example determines that it can provide no more than 10,000 units of the product in the next period of operation. So, ang target rates of return, if it's somehow same as the break-even. The difference lang is limitado ang production niya. For example is, kung 10,000 units ang nga product ang ipagawa niya this month, 10,000 lang gid siya. So, limited lang siya. Maybe because sa brand or sa machinery, 'di ba? Tapos may mga company man nga ay ginalimitahan lang nilang ila product para portray nila sa consumer nila nga limited lang ila nga product. So mas mahal siya kay limited lang man ng limited lang or limited edition lang ang ginapagawas nila. Gamay lang ang may-ara sina. Ano siya. So mas ang target market nila is tong mga high class nila mga customer. Number 4, demand-oriented pricing. Demand-oriented pricing focuses on the nature of the demand curve for the product or service being priced. The nature of the demand curve is influenced largely by the structure of industry in which a firm competes. That is, a firm operates in an industry that is extremely competitive. Price may be used to some strategic advantage in acquiring and maintaining market share. On the other hand, if the firm operates in an environment with a few dominant players, then which price can be minimal. So, demand-oriented prices. So, di ba balantaman nga demand is ang demand mo na siyang most significant sa mga business. So, if damo ka mo nga tindahan in your area, para makaget ka sang or makakuha ka sang new customer, you can lower down your price nga di ka man malugi. So, but if you monopolize or your area ay gamay lang ka mo nga tindahan, you have your control in your price. You have your own control sa price mo. Kay demand, 'di ba? Demand-oriented pricing is ang demand is the great factor sang in a price. So when the demand is high tapos ang supply is low, the price will go up. So kung ang demand naman is low kag ang supply is high, the price will go down. So amo lang na siya. Value-based pricing. If you consider the three approaches to setting price, cost-based is focused entirely on the perspective of the company that very little concerns for the customer's. Demand-based is focused on the consumer, but only a predictor of sales, and value-based pricing focus entirely on the customers as a determinant of the total price value package. Marketers who employ value-based pricing might use the following definition. It is what you think your product is worth to the customer at the time. Moreover, it acknowledges several marketing price truth. To the customer, price is only unpleasant part of buying. Price is easiest marketing tool to copy. Price represents everything about the product. So, ang value-based pricing is measuring how important our product to customer. Diba? Gina-measure ta kung ano gid ka importante ini ang product sa customer kag kung needs ang customer ang product, we can adjust the price based on the needs of the customers. So if for example is halimbawa sang time sang first wave sang pandemic, di ba? Ang most essential is the face mask, the alcohol, the face shield. So may mga amo na siyang gin-grab opportunity, gin-grab sang mga business, sa mga seller or sa mga business nga kay gamay ang supply tapos needs ang tao, gintaas nila ang presyo sang face mask, sang mga alcohol. So amo na siya, we can adjust our price according sa needs ng customer ta. Price are and should be different between countries. So, different price dapat sa every countries may ara ta sang different price strategies. Kay kinahanglan nga in each country dapat lain-lain, di ba lain-lain ang mga price. Depende na siya sa economy sang countries or sa buying capacity nila. Parehas na lang sang produkto sang Jollibee, di ba? Worldwide man ang Jollibee. So kung magbakal ka halimbawa sang Jollibee, lain-lain ang price niya bisan i-convert mo pa siya sa currency, bisan i-solve mo pa siya kay lain-lain gid ang price ng Jollibee. Kay ginadepende na nila sa economy isang tao, isa ka country, or depende na siya sa buying capacity nila.